Welcome to the Bayzat Attendance Training. In this session, we'll take a deep dive into Bayzat's attendance management features. We will cover attendance tracking setup. We'll cover how to configure attendance rules, work schedules, and policies for accurate tracking. We'll also see how employees can check in and out of work through the Bayzat app using location-based validation. Overtime and days in lieu will focus on how to manage extra work hours with automated tracking and compensatory leave options. We'll also explore deduction policies, which automate salary deductions for absences, late arrivals, or policy violations. Then we'll go over the multiple visits feature, which allows employees to check in at various client or job site locations throughout the day, helping admins track field activity more accurately. We'll also take a look at time and pay adjustments, where managers can approve overtime and days in lieu requests, apply salary deductions. Finally, we'll look at attendance reports, where admins and managers can generate real-time insights to monitor work hours, absences, and check-in trends. Let's get started. When it comes to tracking attendance, companies generally follow two main approaches. The choice depends on the nature of the business, workforce needs, and how flexible the schedules need to be. Let's go over these two methods. The first approach is static attendance, also known as fixed schedules. This is where employees follow the same working hours every week. It's commonly used in office environments where consistency matters. Employees start and finish at set times, making it easier for HR teams to track attendance and manage payroll. For instance, Mark works as an accountant at a corporate office. His work hours are fixed from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday to Friday. Since his schedule never changes, his company can easily track his attendance without needing to manage shifts. Another example is Lily, a part-time employee at Bayzat. She works on Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday, always from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Even though she doesn't work full-time, her schedule remains the same every week, making it easy to track her attendance. The second approach is shift scheduling, also known as dynamic schedules. This is used in industries like retail, hospitality, and healthcare, where employee working hours change based on business needs. Managers assign shifts in advance, ensuring proper staffing during busy hours. Let's take an example. Meet Monica. She's a waitress at a restaurant in Motor City. Her schedule isn't fixed. Instead, management posts her shifts weekly. Some days, she might work morning shifts, and other days, she might cover evenings. This flexibility helps businesses adapt to changing demand. Now that we've covered the two main attendance tracking methods, let's move on to setting up attendance in the platform. I'll walk you through the steps, starting with setting up offices. The first step is to define your office locations. This is essential for attendance tracking, especially if your company has multiple offices. Go to Settings, then click on Company. Under the Company section, click on the Offices tab. Now click on Add New to create a new office location. Enter the office name and fill in the location details. The system will automatically identify the geographic location using Google Maps. Once your offices are set up, the next step is to define the work week. This sets which days are considered working days for your employees. While still in the company menu, scroll down and select Work Week to begin configuring it. Here, you can edit the default work week if needed. If your company operates with multiple work weeks, click Add New to create an additional work week. Define the days of the week that constitute the work week. For example, some companies follow a Sunday to Thursday schedule instead of Monday to Friday. Once the work week is set up, we'll configure work timings. This step ensures that attendance tracking aligns with employees' schedules. Go to Settings, then click on the Attendance tab. Here, you'll find the default work timings. You can adjust these settings based on company policies. If your company has different work shifts, click Add New to create a new work timing schedule. Fill in the details, including the start time, end time, and any specific rules, such as late arrival and early departure policies. In some cases, businesses may want to allow employees more flexibility in their working hours. Instead of fixed start and end times, employees can have a grace period or a range of hours in which they can begin and end their workday. This is where the flexible work timing option comes in. To enable flexible work timing, toggle the flexible work timing option. Set the office hours limit by defining the start and end times. For example, you can set the start time at 9 a.m. and the end time at 10 p.m. Next, specify the total number of hours an employee needs to work within this time range. This ensures employees have the flexibility to start and finish within a given time frame while still meeting their required work hours. Let's take an example. Sarah works as a graphic designer in a tech company. Her official work hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but instead of requiring her to start exactly at 9 a.m., her company allows a flexible window from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. to check in. If she starts her day at 9 a.m., she can finish by 6 p.m. If she arrives at 10 a.m., her workday extends to 7 p.m. This flexibility helps employees manage their personal schedules better, improves work-life balance, and can even boost productivity. Once everything is set, click Save, and the flexible work timing rule will be applied. Now that we've set up flexible work timing, let's move on to configuring half-day timing, late arrival, and early departure rules. Sometimes employees might work half days due to company policies, personal requests, or specific shift requirements. Enabling the half-day timing option allows you to define a shorter work duration while still keeping attendance records accurate. Once enabled, the system will track employees who only work for a half-day shift instead of a full workday. To track employees who arrive late, you can enable the late arrival rule. Here, you can define how many minutes after the scheduled start time an employee is considered late. For example, if set to 15 minutes, an employee arriving at 9:16 a.m. or later will be marked as late. For stricter policies, additional levels can be added, allowing businesses to escalate violations based on different time thresholds. You can define up to 4 levels of late arrival tracking. For example, Level 1. Considered late if delayed by more than 15 minutes. Level 2. Considered late if delayed by more than 30 minutes. Level 3. Considered late if delayed by more than 60 minutes. Level 4. Considered late if delayed by more than 120 minutes. This feature helps HR teams enforce punctuality while allowing some buffer time for minor delays. Similarly, the early departure setting allows you to track employees who leave before their scheduled work end time. If an employee is scheduled to work until 6 p.m. but leaves at 5:45 p.m., and the early departure rule is set to 15 minutes, they will be flagged for leaving early. Just like late arrival, you can define up to 4 levels of early departure tracking. Tracking early departures ensures that employees are completing their required work hours and helps maintain accountability. Now that we've set up late arrival and early departure rules, let's move on to configuring absent days, breaks, and out-of-office check-ins to further refine attendance tracking. Sometimes, employees may be significantly late or miss an entire workday without proper reporting. The absent day rule helps define when an employee should be marked as absent based on the delay time. Here, you can set a threshold for how much time an employee can be late before they are considered absent. For example, if set to 300 minutes, an employee arriving more than 5 hours late will be automatically marked as absent for the day. This feature helps HR teams identify extreme tardiness and enforce attendance policies effectively. Next, we have breaks. Enabling breaks allows you to set a defined total duration for break time. For instance, if employees are allowed 60-minute breaks, this ensures they stay within the permitted break period. If your company allows remote or field-based work, you can enable out-of-office check-ins, allowing employees to log their attendance from locations outside the office. This is useful for sales teams, remote workers, or employees who frequently travel for business. For tracking overtime, you can choose between 2 options. Total hours calculates all hours an employee works beyond their scheduled shift. For example, if an employee is scheduled to work 8 hours but ends up working 10 hours, the extra 2 hours will be recorded as total hours worked beyond the schedule. After work end time specifically tracks hours worked after the official shift ends. For instance, if an employee's shift ends at 6 p.m., but they continue working until 8 p.m., the extra 2 hours will be counted as additional hours worked beyond the scheduled end time. Additionally, you can manage break time inclusion settings. If this option is turned off, break time is not counted as part of the scheduled working hours. Instead, it is subtracted from the total work hours, ensuring employees do not accumulate. When this setting is enabled, the allowed break duration is included as part of the scheduled working hours. This means employees' total work hours will count the break time as part of their shift, as long as they do not exceed the permitted break duration. For example, if an employee's shift is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with a 1-hour break, their total scheduled work time remains 9 hours, and the break does not affect their extra hours calculation. If the employee takes more than the allowed break time, the excess break duration will be deducted from their extra hours calculation, ensuring that only the permitted break is included in their total working hours. Once all the settings are configured, click Save, and the new work timing will be applied. You can create multiple work timings and assign them to different employees based on their roles and requirements. For example, you can create one work timing with flexible hours for employees who need more schedule flexibility, and another for out-of-office employees who frequently work remotely. This customization ensures that attendance policies match the unique needs of your workforce while keeping tracking efficient and accurate. Now that we've set up different work timings, work weeks, and office locations, the next step is assigning these settings to employees. This process is specifically for static shift employees, meaning those who follow a fixed schedule with consistent working hours. To assign work settings, start by navigating to the employee's profile. Within their profile, go to the Work tab, where all work-related settings can be managed. In this section, you can define the employee's work week. Make sure to select the correct work week based on company policies. For example, some employees may follow a Monday to Friday schedule, while others, such as those in retail or hospitality, might have a Monday to Saturday work week. Next, assign the appropriate work timing for the employee. This determines their daily working hours. For example, a full-time office employee may follow a 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. schedule, while a part-time employee might have different work hours. If you have multiple work timing rules, you can assign different shifts based on the employee's requirements. For instance, you might assign flexible work timing for some employees and fixed work timing for others. Finally, assign the correct office location where the employee will be reporting to work. Once all these settings are assigned, the static shift employee's attendance will be tracked according to their fixed schedule, ensuring accurate work hour calculations. If you're managing a large number of static shift employees, assigning their work settings one by one might not be practical. That's where the Excel bulk update comes in handy. To do this, go to the Employees page and click on See All Employees, then hit Download to export the employee data file. Once downloaded, open the Excel sheet and scroll to the right side of the file. You'll find the relevant columns for office, work week, and work timing. Click on any of these fields to see a drop-down menu with your available setup options. You can either select values manually or copy and paste them across multiple rows to update several employees at once. Just make sure not to remove or rename any columns or rows in the sheet. Once you've made all the updates, save the file, then go back to the platform, click on Add Employee, choose Excel Bulk Import, and upload the updated Excel sheet. After the upload is complete, all assigned work settings will reflect immediately for each employee, saving you a lot of time while keeping everything accurate. Now let's move on to managing shift-based employees and how to assign dynamic shift schedules. For employees who work on shift schedules, Their working hours are not fixed and can vary depending on business needs. Unlike static shift-based employees have changing schedules that require proper management and tracking. To assign work schedules effectively, we'll go through the process of setting up and managing shifts using the shift scheduler. The first step in managing shift schedules is to create a work center. Work centers help group employees based on their work locations, shift timings, and assigned schedulers, ensuring smooth shift management. To create a work center, go to Settings, then click on Attendance, and select Work Centers for shift scheduling. Once you're there, click on Add New Work Center, and start by entering a name for the work center. Assign schedulers. A shift scheduler is responsible for managing shift assignments within a work center. If you haven't assigned a scheduler yet, simply click on Assign a New Scheduler and select the person who will oversee shift scheduling. This can be done directly within this screen, so there's no need to exit the settings and come back later. Work timings define when employees should be present at the office during their assigned shifts. If work timings haven't been configured yet, you can click Add New to create and define the timing rules for this work center. For example, you might have different work timings for morning, afternoon, or night shifts, depending on business needs. Select the office locations for the work center. Each work center must be linked to one or more office locations where shifts will take place. If no office locations have been assigned yet, click Add New to select the correct office or offices for this work center. This ensures that employees working in different locations are assigned shifts in the right place without needing to go back and update settings separately. Once you've assigned office locations, click Next to proceed to the next step, adding employees to the work center. This ensures that shifts are scheduled only for employees who are part of this work center. In this section, you can search for employees by name or ID and add them to the work center. However, keep in mind that an employee cannot be assigned to multiple work centers at the same time. If you need to move an employee to a different work center, you must first remove them from their existing work center before adding them to the new one. Employees who are already assigned to a work center will appear grayed out in the list, making it easy to identify them. You will also see the name of their assigned work center displayed under their name. Once all employees have been added, click Next to finalize the setup and start assigning shift schedules within the work center. Once the work center is created, we can start assigning shifts. To manage shifts, navigate to the time and click on Shift Scheduler. This is where you can view, create, and manage shifts for employees within different work centers. To create a shift, start by selecting the relevant work center from the drop-down at the top left. Then, click on the plus button that appears in the row of the employee and under the desired date. This will open the shift creation window, where you can fill in the shift details such as timing, location, and any notes. Once the shift details are entered, you can either save as draft if you're still finalizing the schedule, or save and publish to notify the employee immediately. If the shift schedule repeats, Bayzat allows you to quickly copy and apply shifts to multiple employees, instead of manually assigning them one by one. To copy a shift, hover over the copy icon next to an employee's name. Click to copy the shift for that employee. To paste the shift, you'll be taken to a paste screen. Select the date range and the employees to whom the shift should be copied. Choose whether to overwrite draft shifts for selected employees. Click Apply, and the shifts will be assigned instantly as a draft. Once the shifts are created, the final step is to publish the schedule so employees can see their assigned shifts. Click Publish Shifts to notify employees about their schedules. Employees will receive push notifications on the Bayzat app, ensuring they stay informed about their upcoming shifts. With the shift schedule set up and published, employees will have clear visibility of their assigned shifts, and schedulers can efficiently manage coverage. If you're managing a large workforce with rotating shifts, manually assigning shifts one by one can be time-consuming. That's where the Schedule Planner comes in. It's built for fast and efficient mass scheduling. To get started, go to Time, click on Shift Scheduler, and then select Schedule Planner from the top right. If you haven't selected a work center yet, a window will appear asking you to choose one. Once selected, you'll be directed to the same view you're used to in the shift scheduler. You can use filters to narrow down by department, gender, or even a specific employee. This makes it easier to focus on the right set of people. To assign a shift, just click on any empty cell. A window will appear where you can select the shift timing, office, and add notes if needed. Once saved, the shift is already copied, so you can keep clicking the plus sign to paste the same shift across multiple days. To switch to a new shift, click Select a new shift, enter the new details, and continue. Your progress is saved automatically as you go. If you need to step away, click Go back to Shift Scheduler and choose Keep Progress and Exit when prompted. You can come back later and pick up right where you left off. When you're ready to publish the shifts, click on Save Draft, then go back to the Shift Scheduler and click Publish. If the Publish option appears grayed out, make sure you've selected the same work center you were using in the schedule planner. Once published, employees will receive a push notification in the Bayzat app with their shift details. Schedule Planner helps you handle large-scale shift assignments smoothly, without repetitive steps or manual effort. Now, let's move on to how employees can check in, check out, and manage breaks using the Bayzat app. To check in at the start of your shift, open the Bayzat app and click on the Attendance Check-in widget on the home page. Click on Check-in as soon as you enter your shift location. At the end of your shift, you need to check out to complete your work hours. This confirms the completion of your work shift and ensures your total worked hours are recorded accurately. If your company allows tracked break times, you can start and end your breaks directly from the Bayzat app. On the home page of the Bayzat app, click on the Attendance widget. Select Start Break. This option is only available after you've checked in for the day. Confirm by clicking Yes to begin your break timing. Select End Break once you're ready to resume work. Confirm by clicking Yes to stop the break timer. By using the check-in, check-out, and break management features in the Bayzat app, employees can ensure their work hours are tracked correctly, and HR teams can maintain accurate attendance records. While this captures attendance at the office, some employees also need to visit clients or external sites during their workday. To help log these visits accurately, Bayzat offers the Multiple Visits feature, allowing employees to record each visit's location and time spent throughout the day. To set it up, go to Settings, select Attendance, and open Multiple Visits. Toggle on Enable Multiple Visits so employees can start and end visits while on the move. You can also enable the option to allow employees to create visit locations, giving them flexibility to add new locations directly through the app when needed. Once enabled, you can define official visit locations by clicking Add New Location. When creating a location, simply enter the location name, specify the address or coordinates, and set the check-in radius, the area within which the employee must be to log their visit. You can also associate visit locations with specific clients for better tracking and reporting. When employees start their day, they first check in as usual through the Bayzat app. Throughout the day, whenever they attend a meeting or move between sites, they open the Attendance widget, tap Start Visit, and select the correct location from the list. If permitted, they can also create a new location on the spot. Once their meeting is over or the task is complete, they tap End Visit. This process can be repeated as many times as needed within a single workday. During visits, progress is automatically recorded in real time. If employees start multiple visits, all their check-ins and check-outs are neatly tracked and linked to their attendance record without any manual follow-up. Managers can later view reports showing total visits, time spent at each location, and detailed lists of employees who visited specific clients or sites. This provides full transparency on field activities while ensuring accurate attendance data is maintained. With multiple visits enabled, organizations can easily track productivity outside the office, improve client visit accountability, and maintain complete attendance records without adding extra administrative work. And while visits and check-ins cover most workday movements, Sometimes mistakes still happen, like a missed punch-in or a forgotten checkout. That's where attendance regularization comes in. It allows employees to fix or explain any irregularities in their attendance directly through the platform without needing back and forth with HR. To get started, head over to Settings, then click on Attendance. From there, you'll see the configuration panel that lets you define exactly how this feature should work for your organization. Start by enabling the option that allows employees to submit regularization requests. This gives them permission to request changes to their attendance records, such as adjusting a missed check-in, updating shift timings, or explaining an unexpected absence. Next, head to Settings and click on Approval Flow to set up the approval process. You can build this using one or more approval steps. Within each step, choose approvers from a list of roles, like Attendance Manager, Line Manager, People Manager, Super Admin, and more, depending on how you want to route the requests internally. Once configured, employees will see the option to submit regularization requests directly from their Bayzat app or web portal by going to Time, then Attendance, or just Attendance from the Bayzat app. To manage these requests, go to Requests and click on Employee Tickets. From here, you can review, approve, or reject any submissions based on the notes and timestamps provided. If you need to create a request on behalf of an employee, just click Create Employee Ticket. Select the employee name, choose the relevant date, enter check-in and check-out times, and add any notes or attachments. Once submitted, the request will follow the approval flow you've set up. Attendance regularization gives your team the ability to fix genuine mistakes while keeping control and oversight in the hands of managers and payroll, ensuring records are fair, accurate, and always up to date. Now that we've covered check-ins, breaks, external site visits with multiple visits, and attendance corrections through regularization, let's move on to overtime policy and how extra hours are managed in Bayzat. Overtime tracking ensures that employees are fairly compensated for any hours worked beyond their scheduled shifts. With Bayzat, these extra hours are automatically detected, and employees can easily request compensation, making the entire process efficient and transparent. To get started with setup, head to Settings, go to Attendance, and click on Overtime Policy. Click Add New to create a new rule. Then, under Policy Name, enter a title for your new overtime setup. After naming the policy, you can define its key parameters. Choose whether employees are allowed to request extra hours if they work beyond their scheduled shift. Enable or disable access for managers without payroll roles to see the net amount employees earn from overtime. Next, you'll need to define how the hourly rate for extra hours is calculated. You have multiple configuration options to match your company's policies. Start by selecting between Single Rate or Custom Rate. Single rate means one consistent rate is applied across all types of days, whether it's a weekday, weekend, public holiday, or a day off. If you go with Single Rate, you'll see two options. Unified applies a single, uniform overtime calculation to all extra hours. Split separates the calculation into two components. A base overtime rate, typically calculated using the basic salary, and an additional overtime rate, which can include allowances on top of the base. For example, you might want the base overtime to be calculated from just the basic salary, and any additional overtime from basic plus allowances. If your company uses different overtime rules depending on the day, you can instead choose the custom rate option. This allows you to set different rates for weekdays, weekends, public holidays, and off days, giving you more control and flexibility. Let's break down how each rate is calculated. Multiplier. This defines how the extra hours are calculated based on the employee's salary. You have two options here. Unit. This is a multiplier value like 1.5, which means the employee earns time and a half for each extra hour worked. Percentage. This option allows you to enter a percentage value instead. For example, 150% means the employee will receive 1.5 times their hourly rate. Both unit and percentage result in the same payout. It just depends on which format your company prefers to use. Salary component. You can base the overtime on just the basic salary, or include allowances by selecting Basic plus Allowance. Days calculation. Choose how the working days are defined, either by actual calendar days, actual working days, or set your own using custom days. The default value is 30 days. Working hours per day. This is used to divide the salary and calculate the hourly rate. The default is 8 hours but can be adjusted. Once all the calculation rules are configured, click on Next to assign employees to this policy. Note that each employee can only be assigned to one overtime policy at a time, so if someone is already under a different policy, you'll need to remove them first before assigning the new one. Finally, review all the settings and click on Save to apply the policy. This setup ensures all extra hours worked are properly calculated and compensated, helping you maintain fairness and compliance across the company. Now that the overtime policy is set up, employees can log extra hours, and managers can review and approve overtime requests. Next, let's take a look at days in lieu, also known as compensatory off. Days in lieu allow employees who work on public holidays or beyond their regular hours to receive additional leave days as compensation instead of extra pay. This policy ensures employees receive fair rest periods in return for extra hours worked. Compliance with labor laws regarding compensatory leave. Transparency in tracking and assigning compensatory days off. To configure a days in lieu policy, go to Settings, then select Attendance, and click on Days in lieu policy. Click on Add New to create a new compensatory leave policy. Under the Policy Name section, enter a name for the policy. Once named, configure the following settings. Employee requests. Choose whether employees can request compensatory leave directly. Calculation basis. Define how many extra hours equate to one full compensatory day off. The default is 8 hours, but this can be adjusted based on company policies. After defining the policy, assign employees by clicking on Next. Search for an employee by name or ID using the search bar. Employees already assigned to another policy will appear grayed out. Select the employees who should be included in this policy. You can move all to quickly assign all available employees, or manually select specific employees. Keep in mind, an employee can only be assigned to one days in lieu policy at a time. Once all settings are in place, review the policy details carefully. Click Save to activate the days in lieu policy. Now, employees who work beyond their scheduled hours or on public holidays can receive compensatory leave instead of monetary overtime. Now that we've covered days in lieu, let's shift our focus to the deduction policy. This governs how salary deductions are automatically applied when employees violate attendance rules. These policies play a critical role in ensuring fair and consistent handling of attendance violations, automating payroll deductions based on clear, predefined rules, maintaining transparency for both employees and managers. To set up a deduction policy, head over to Settings, then Attendance, and select Deduction Policies for Payroll. Click on Add New to begin creating a new policy, and start by giving it a name. Once named, you'll configure a few core settings. Visibility of deduction, amounts for managers. This toggle allows you to decide if line managers, who may not have payroll permissions, can still see the net amount being deducted from employees for violations. Time to action window for managers. Here, you set the time frame in which managers must take action, either approving or rejecting attendance violations like late arrivals or absences. If no action is taken within this window, the entry becomes inactive and can no longer be acted upon. For example, if you set it to 7 days, the manager must respond within that period, or the deduction is automatically dismissed. Now, when configuring deduction logic, you'll choose between standard tracking and advanced tracking. Standard tracking. This is the simpler method, ideal for straightforward policies. Each type of violation is treated the same, no matter how often it happens. It's a single-level approach with no escalation. Let's walk through how to set it up. Salary component. Choose either basic salary or basic plus allowances. Days calculation allows you to decide how the salary is broken down for deduction purposes. You can choose from calendar days, working days, or set your own value using custom days, depending on how your payroll is structured. Multiplier defines how much of the salary will be deducted. You have two options. Unit, which uses a multiplier like 1.0 or 1.5. Or percentage, where you can set a value like 10% of the daily rate. For example, if an employee's daily rate is 300 AED, a 10% deduction would equal 30 AED. If your policy requires more flexibility, you can use advanced tracking. This allows you to assign different penalties depending on how often the violation happens and whether it disrupted work. One key setting here is the policy refresh duration. This determines how long the system should remember previous violations. For instance, if it's set to 10 days and an employee is late twice within that window, those two events will be linked and escalate to the next level. But if more than 10 days pass without another issue, the count resets, and the next violation will be treated as a first-time offense. This gives you a fair and structured way to manage repeated violations without permanently penalizing employees for occasional mistakes. With advanced tracking, you can also enable work disruption marking. This lets you define different penalties based on whether the late arrival or absence actually impacted operations. You'll then configure up to 4 levels of escalation, such as written warning, sends an email to the employee. Payroll deduction, applies a fixed or variable deduction. Fixed, a flat amount based on salary percentage or day rate. Variable, based on how long the employee was late or absent. Combined penalties. You can also mix a written warning with a deduction. Once all the parameters are set, the last step is assigning employees. Select them from the available list. Employees already assigned to a different deduction policy will appear grayed out. Keep in mind that each employee can only be assigned to one deduction policy at a time. Once you're done reviewing the setup, just click Save to activate your new policy. With the deduction policy in place to handle attendance violations, let's take a look at how to handle exceptions and corrections through time and pay adjustments. Time and pay adjustments allow managers to correct attendance entries and apply related pay changes when needed. This could include situations like missed check-ins, forgotten checkouts, or approved early leaves. To review and manage time and pay adjustments, start by navigating to the Time section, then click on Employee Attendance. From there, head to the Time and Pay Adjustments tab. This is where you'll find all pending attendance-related requests. These include issues like late arrivals, absences, early departures, or extra hours. Each entry shows the employee's name, the type of violation, date, duration, and its payroll impact. You can apply filters to view requests based on status, department, office, or employee. You can also switch between pending, reviewed, approved, or rejected tabs for better tracking. When reviewing a request, click the 3 dots beside the action buttons to view the full ticket. This allows you to see the details, history, and any attached comments or notes. Once reviewed, you have 3 action options: approve for payroll to confirm the violation and apply the corresponding salary deduction or compensation, reject the request if it's not valid or justified, or leave a comment for transparency and clarification. Once approved or rejected, the entry automatically moves out of the pending list and updates the attendance and payroll records accordingly. This tool gives managers full visibility and control, ensuring that attendance discrepancies are handled quickly, fairly, and in line with company policy. Once time and pay adjustments are handled, the next step is understanding how to monitor and analyze overall attendance performance. The attendance reports feature on BayZat gives you a clear overview of attendance behavior across your workforce, making it easier for admins and managers to track check-in and check-out times, total hours worked, absences, and visits in one centralized place. The daily report offers a clear view of attendance records for each employee on a given day. It includes check-in and check-out times, making it easy to monitor punctuality and ensure accurate work hour calculations. Managers can filter reports based on departments, office locations, teams, or specific attendance statuses. Additionally, if any adjustments are needed, attendance records can be edited, and comments can be added for better tracking and transparency. For a more comprehensive analysis, the custom report extends beyond a single day, covering a selected date range. This report provides a breakdown of total hours worked, days present and absent, and instances of early departures and late arrivals. It enables managers to identify patterns, track attendance trends, and ensure compliance with company policies over time. The location report is designed for employees who frequently visit multiple locations throughout the day. It records all locations visited, displaying the total number of visits and the time spent at each site. Clicking on a specific location provides a detailed list of employees who checked in there, along with visit timestamps. This helps in tracking field operations and verifying time spent at different locations. To access these reports, admins can view company-wide attendance data, while line managers can retrieve attendance records specific to their teams. Reports can be accessed through the time, then click on Employee Attendance section on the BayZat platform. For convenience, line managers can also view daily attendance reports directly from the BayZat app, ensuring they can monitor attendance from anywhere. That brings us to the end of this training on attendance management in BayZat. We've covered everything from setting up attendance tracking and shift schedules to overtime policies, deduction policies, and reporting. By now, you should have a clear understanding of how to configure and manage attendance effectively to ensure accuracy, compliance, and efficiency in your organization. If you need any help or have questions, you can always reach out to our customer success team. We're available by email at customersuccess@bayzat.com, on WhatsApp, or by phone, whatever works best for you. Thank you for your time, and we hope this session has been helpful.